Let's get into some interesting facts about this movie, guys.
No, wait.
Let her know what she's working with. That's the way to do it in a loving way.
Hey guys, welcome back to Androidvision.
Don't ever trust a grown man with a puppy in the park.
What'll they do next?
Music to the ears of the hungry. The sizzle of a mouth-watering hamburger. Fresh, lean beef, done to a golden brown. Couched in a soft bun. And garnished to the ears of the hungry. The sizzle of a mouth-watering hamburger.
Hey, welcome to Androidvision, brought to you by the Intestinal Fortitude. Hey guys, welcome back to Androidvision Season 6 premiere. Haven't seen you since last month, but we got a new but old face.
Hi.
Hey! See you? Did we do our secret handshake?
What was our secret? Oh.
Wait, is it? No, wait. You do...
I don't remember.
I don't
our secret
remember either,
handshake,
but
it was
anyways,
something terrible.
It was something really awful and bad, but in totally... So how are you?
I'm great. I'm in a trailer.
Yeah.
Way overdressed for a trailer. I have boobs.
Yeah? Got boobs? Are they new, or...?
No, they're just COVID boobs. This is quarantine boobs, guys.
Yeah, me too.
Stimulus check moves.
Oh, stimulus check boobs.
Stimulus check? I don't know that this was my stimulus check.
It's been a while. There's been some crime scene stuff go on here in the trailer, and
Yeah.
I haven't cleaned it up. I'm sorry. I just thought it created ambiance, you know.
Lots of ambiance. Yep.
Yeah.
As
So-
long as it's not still slimy.
There's
Not
some
touched.
chunks on here. See, basically, most of this is there was a tampon that clogged the drain
God.
in the toilet,
Oh, yeah.
and I had to pull it out, and I couldn't pull it out, so I actually had to get down there with the fishing wire and pull it out. When I pulled it out, it was just chunks everywhere, and it was moving. So I think some of the I don't know, I guess the stuff from the land got into it. Might have possessed it. We had a
Well,
possessed
you know,
tampon.
Menstrual blood is used in various rituals, so...
Speaking of rituals, you disappeared into the desert, and now you're back.
Yep,
It's a beautiful thing.
it is.
Thank you so much for coming back. And we played some D&D while you weren't here.
D&D's always fun.
And we summoned you back from the desert, which is a good thing, guys. So, yeah, Sam. So a lot of you are happy that Sam's back, and I'm happy that Sam's back. So,
And I'm happy to be back.
yeah, and our other male girl, Alyssa, she will be back too sometime, maybe next summer. I don't know where she's at. You know, she's somewhere fucking around. But
We trade places routinely. She's probably out in the desert somewhere. We're going to have to re-summon her and see if I get sucked back into the portal.
I'm gonna have to prop her mouth open with some kind of device and just pour some beer down her throat, and it'll wake her up. You know, it's like Dracula but beer. You know what I mean?
Got it.
Those knocking vaginas if you need for something in reference or something.
I have one actually in the other trailer that I sleep in that it's unopened. I might bring it out for a prop.
It was unopened. I did put it back in the packaging.
Did you?
Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I
I,
didn't clean it though.
so I literally was gonna put my finger in it too. All right, guys. So up next, again, thank you so much for sticking with us and being with us back on this new season 6 of Androidvision. We have a PSA. It's not even a PSA. It's more of a news. It's from 60 Minutes. You guys remember? Is that show even still on still?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Is it? All right. So, it's a 1985 60-minute special. It only lasts about like 15 to 17 minutes, and it's basically about the do's and don'ts and the bad times of playing D&D, the dark side of D&D. You know. Have you ever?
Magic, wizards, and.
Well, what it is they try. It's basically the satanic panic thing, like how they try to blame heavy metal on dudes shooting themselves in the face with shotguns. It's the same thing, but D&D.
Yep.
So, I think that this PSA hopefully won't get ripped down from our program, but it should be fine. So, basically, this PSA tells you that if you get too much into role playing, you start taking it seriously, and Satan invades your body or the character you created on the I don't know.
You mean like Stranger Things?
Yeah. That what's going to happen is it's going to happen in real life, and you're going to end up like chopping your brother's head off with a homemade axe or something like that. So we'll be right back. Enjoy this PSA, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more after, and then we'll introduce our next movie. We'll be right back.
D&D, and it's become popular with children anywhere from grammar school on up. Not so with a lot of adults who think it's been connected to a number of suicides and murders. The idea of the game, which is played by highly imaginative and intelligent kids, is to assume the role of one of the characters. One game can go on for weeks or even months. The problem seems to be that some kids take it more seriously than others, take it a step further, playing a character who brings them the power in a game they couldn't possibly get in real life.
About 2 months ago, a green eyeball was seen up in the sky. This eyeball was so big it blotted out the sun, okay?
These young people are playing Dungeons and Dragons. It's an enormously complicated game in which each player chooses an imaginary character he'll assume. There are dwarfs, knights and thieves, gods and devils, magic and spells. It's a journey into a land of fantasy through complicated mazes where you use your wits to kill your enemies before they kill you, all in a quest for wealth and power. The Dungeon Master orchestrates and referees the game, creating scenarios both complicated and terrifying. There is no board, only the dice.
I've never seen dice like these. All different sides.
Six-sided.
What's the point in that?
They're for different things. The four-sided is used mainly for damage from a dagger and dart, and magic users' hit points. Hit points is the damage that you can take before you die.
There are those who are fearful that the game in the hands of vulnerable kids could do harm, and there is evidence that seems to support that view. Timothy Grice, 21, a shotgun suicide. The detective report noted, D&D became a reality. Irving Bink Pulling, 16, an avid D&D player, a suicide. Daniel and Stephen Irwin, 16 and 12, a murder and a suicide. The police said they were obsessed with the game. James Allen Kirby, 14 years old, charged with killing his junior high school principal and wounding 3 other people. Police are blaming D&D. Jeffrey Jaklovich, 14. Stephen Loyacano, 16. Michael Dempsey, 17. And the list goes on. The company that makes the Dungeons and Dragons material is TSR Incorporated of Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. They estimate there are 3 to 4 million kids who play the game. Last year, they grossed nearly $30 million, with Dungeons and Dragons books and paraphernalia accounting for most of those sales. Gary Gygax owns the company and invented the game. Dieter Sturm is the head of public relations.
There are a number of cases that have been documented where there is some connection between D&D. I'm not saying that D&D is the cause of the death. Paraphernalia from the game has been found at the scene of the death. Notes Suicide notes referring to the game have been found, and all of these people, in a dozen or so cases, have been documented as avid D&D players. And you see no connection whatsoever?
We see no connection for the fact that right now there's some 3 to 4 million players of the game actively throughout the United States. Right at this particular time, 1985, teenage suicide is epidemic across the country, with some 5,000 kids a year now taking their lives. I think that to say that because that child played Dungeons & Dragons, who's to say that that child does not watch television, does not participate in high school sports, or what per se?
I have yet to see one bit of valid clinical evidence to show that this has been anything more than coincidental with a disturbed child.
If you found 12 kids in murder-suicide with one connecting factor in each of them, wouldn't you question it? And that's all people would do.
I would certainly do it in a scientific manner, and this is as unscientific as you can get. It's nothing but a witch hunt.
But the families who have suffered the loss of a loved one would disagree. Pat and Lee Pulling and their 12-year-old daughter, Melissa. The Pullings came home one night 3 years ago and found Bink, their son, dead on the front lawn of their home in Montpelier, Virginia. He had shot himself through the heart with his father's handgun. Until that night, they had never heard of the game Dungeons & Dragons. Then they began looking through his things.
We went into the kitchen, and there on the table were what we thought were just regular composition books with schoolwork in it, and much of the Dungeons & Dragons material, along with this curse he had received in the game that day that he died.
The curse that was placed on Bink's D&D character began, "Your soul is mine. I choose the time." In a letter that he left, Bink said he had been summoned to kill himself because he was evil.
It was obvious through his writings that he felt he had assumed this character. But what I couldn't get into my mind was, is it possible? How could anybody do that? How could a 16-year-old that is smart, intelligent, why would they believe that they were something in a game, and why would they kill themselves because somebody else said to do it?
Your son was well-adjusted?
Always. He had never had psychological problems. He was healthy, even physically healthy.
Well, we found that there's been numerous parents who say that the child's had no problems and such. Very conclusively, we go back to details of reports of classmates, of teachers, of friends and such, who very much kind of show that the youngster didn't fit in to school. He had outside problems and generally problems with his family.
We know that in the case of Dungeons & Dragons, upwards of 3 million kids play the game with no apparent serious consequence. That for them it exercises the imagination and is just good fun. But there are those who are afraid that impressionable, vulnerable kids could be harmed by it. Dr. Thomas Radecki is a psychiatrist who teaches at the University of Illinois Medical School and who is chairman of the National Coalition on Television Violence. He has been studying the game for several years and says there are 28 deaths related to Dungeons & Dragons in the last 5 years.
And some of those, it was clearly the decisive element, and other ones, it was just a major element in the thinking of the people at the time they committed suicide or murder. It's not coincidence, not when you have careful documentation, you have careful notes, you have eyewitnesses. For instance, one case, the parents saw their child summon Dungeons & Dragons demons into his room before he killed himself. Another case, the kid thought he had the ability to astral travel, coming from the Dungeons & Dragons game, that he could leave his body and come back. And he had rigged it up just according to the rule book so he could do it. He was surrounded by his materials and put a bullet in his head so he could leave his body, and he's never come back.
This is make-believe, and nobody's murdered, and there's no violence there. I mean, to use an analogy with another game, who is bankrupted by losing a game of Monopoly? Nobody is, because the money is make-believe, the property is make-believe, and the bankruptcy is make-believe.
It is not like Monopoly. There is no board. It is role-playing, which is typically used for behavior modification. If you are using behavior modification and you are doing violent roles and you're doing negative roles continuously, these children not only begin to have violent dreams or violent thoughts or negative, depressing type things, they become very much a part of this character.
You're role-playing, you're rehearsing, you're developing the character hour after hour, day after day. We're really talking about intense involvement in a very serious form of violence.
The important thing to remember is, if you're playing a character, let's say, for instance, you have an evil character. The rules tell you your evil character is allowed in the scope of the rules to murder people and to rape and plunder. If you're playing a good character, you're the defender of the people. You try to stop the people from raping and plundering.
Yeah.
But it's just your character that does it on the sheet of paper. When the game is over, the game does not tell you to go out and rape and plunder.
But for some kids, it's not as simple as that. Melissa claimed that D&D had become more than just a game for her brother Bink.
Someone threatened you?
Yes. My brother threatened to kill me one time.
And we found out later that he had threatened to kill her if she told us that he was playing the game. She knew it, and she was actually scared for her life.
After her son's death, Pat Pulling thoroughly investigated the game. She felt so strongly that it was responsible for her son's death that she formed a network of concerned people to warn others about the dangerous aspects of the game. Because of her involvement with D&D, Mrs. Pulling is often consulted by police departments.
Has placed you in a dreadfully precarious position. You're playing the most phenomenal game ever created. Your skin grows cold from your first glimpse of the enormous beast. It's a product of your imagination. Survival depends on a quick, decisive move. Your choices are limited. Stand and fight, or run. Use your lightning bolt. Victory is yours. Win the treasure. TSR Hobbies, Dungeons & Dragons games. Products of your imagination.
Because of her involvement with D&D, Mrs. Pulling is often consulted by police departments around the country. Last November, in this deserted area outside the small town of Lafayette, Colorado, two brothers, Daniel and Stephen Irwin, 16 and 12 years old, were found dead. It was a murder-suicide. The story was widely covered by newspapers and television, as was the fact that the police said the deaths were caused by the boys' obsession with the game Dungeons & Dragons. Officer Greg Corey was assigned to the case when the boys were first reported missing. He learned that they used to come to this railroad trestle to play the game.
Both boys were here when you came?
Yes, both boys were intertwined, their legs intertwined down in this area. The older boy in this area here, the younger boy laying here with the .22 caliber gun next to his head. Where the gun was found was just to the right of his head area.
As a police officer, as an investigator, did you see a connection between what happened here and the game Dungeons & Dragons?
And the investigation showed that it was a focal point of the boys' lives. They were just enthralled in the game. And this comes from witnesses and the family and the brother, that they were totally obsessed with the game. In fact, would play it for 48 hours straight, sort of a marathon playing.
2 weeks after the police chief announced that Dungeons & Dragons had been the cause of the boys' deaths, he issued a final press release with a different version of his earlier statements. TSR claimed they were vindicated, but Pat Pulling couldn't believe that the police changed their story.
And I said, well, you can't change it. If it's the truth, you can't change it. I mean, children are dying, Ed. Children are dying out there, and people are not telling.
Mrs. Pulling was convinced that it was the threat of a lawsuit by TSR rather than the evidence that made the police chief change his story.
Did you threaten to sue the city?
No, we did not threaten to sue. We did send them a letter, which we asked them in a very kind way that they please further investigation and take a look at exactly what all the evidence is and what the details are specifically before they start calling the name of our product into it as being a blame or cause.
But Mrs. Pulling had received a letter from the police chief in Lafayette in which he said that it was his fear of a lawsuit that made him back off.
Yes, he sent me a letter.
The letter to Mrs. Pulling from the chief of police said in part, "I sincerely hope you will understand what has happened and will forgive me. I do not feel very good about myself, and I feel that I have lost a part of my integrity. May I say that the city administrator and city attorney were very supportive of me, but cautious. My obligation to the city as a whole to protect them from serious financial litigation was predominant.
I wept. I mean, I said, boy, you know, maybe somebody was going to really take and pay attention to this now and start doing some serious research and start stopping children from dying over something that they didn't have to die.
I don't think anyone is suggesting that your intentions originally with this game were anything but good. It was a game to have some fun. But in the light of what some people would consider to be strong evidence, don't you really think that you have to rethink your position about the game and at least make known the potential for abuse of the game?
Well, I again have to go back and say there's no link that this is, except perhaps in the minds of those people who are looking desperately for any other cause than perhaps their own failure as a parent for their child's death. And further, anything can be abused. Are we going to try to go around and say, this chair could be used by a violent person to strike another person, therefore it should have a warning label on it saying, caution, this can be used to assault you with?
We would like an impartial inquiry by the Consumer Product Safety Commission to actually look into these deaths, to call the police, call the detectives forward, bring forth the evidence, bring the parents in, look at this. Let's have an inquiry, an open public inquiry, and let's find out the truth.
This Friday, the town of Putnam, Connecticut will hold a town meeting to discuss whether Dungeons and Dragons should continue to be played in their schools. The suicide of a 13-year-old Putnam boy has once again fanned the controversy.
D&D is satanic? Really? Look, if that was true, these nerds would be swimming in pussy. Why would you worship Satan if the only thing you get out of it is to be ridiculed and joked at with your friends and family? The only thing D&D does is get these pimply teenagers together so they can have butt sex all night long. The chances of you getting spit roasted by your friends while playing D&D while rolling 2d6 is highly probable. Is that chaotic neutral? Is that how that game goes? I don't know how to play, but I'm really interested.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that PSA, and if you've had any family members who have accidentally offered themselves, I don't know, offered or offed, to, you know, the D&D gods.
Oh.
You know.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say offered.
Themselves, or off themselves, to the D&D gods. I'm sorry for your loss. So basically, this program makes the argument that if you play too much D&D, that it's complicit, and the makers are complicit in your child's suicide. What do you think of that?
I think that's the same argument that they try to make with violent video games.
Yeah. It's basically, this television program was the reefer madness of the D&D era. You know, if you're going to go crazy. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. And it pretty much becomes like a witch hunt and talks about curses. And again, this is like the same people that kind of convicted the West Memphis 3. You know, that same type of mentality. So you got...
Didn't have Eddie Vedder to help them out this time.
They certainly didn't. Eddie Vedder can't bring you back from the grave. So, but there is a really funny thing I want to tell you guys about this. There's a Tom Hanks movie, and I don't think we'll cover it on the show because it's rather boring, but it's from 1982, and it's called Mazes and Monsters, and it's loosely based off the events of what happened with all these D&D deaths going on. And it's not a great movie. It's very slow, but it's really overtly acted, and Tom Hanks, you know, flexes his goddamn, I don't know.
This is a precursor to Castaway.
No, it's like do you guys even remember Tom Hanks on like old sitcoms?
Yeah.
And he used to like
Bosom Buddies.
Bosom Buddies, but he was on another. Was it Family Ties? Do you guys remember Family?
He played the uncle on Family Ties, the alcoholic uncle.
Yeah, the alcoholic uncle, man, and like he flexes his like dramatic acting in that show too, as he does in this. Yeah, that was a dark episode.
Yeah, he was drinking the vanilla extract in the.
Oh God.
Summer.
Yeah, Tom Hanks.
Is he the reason they don't add alcohol these days?
Yeah.
It's the Harvey Weinstein.
Oh. Yeah, so it's a real weird PSA. I hope you guys enjoy it. But up next, kind of in the same vein, is we have a movie. Obviously, all new movies this season. Nothing that we're re-showing because you get the old, guys out there who live in Florida that eat, dinosaur cutout, not cookies, chicken nuggets. Yeah, they get pissed that we show the same shit or sometimes over and over again. But so tonight, God forbid, we're going to show Miss 45 one more time. So 1970s Equinox. Basically, it goes as when Professor Waterman stopped going to his classes, some of his students decide to go party in the woods and at the same time look for their professor because they're working on some project. And they're going to go look for the cat, go look for this cat or go to this cabin. Sorry. So they're going to this cabin. And he was doing some research on an ancient book that had some ancient tomes in it. I don't know. So these guys are going to go do two birds with one stone. They're going to go party and fuck in the woods, maybe, potentially.
Yeah, really, I think that was their primary motive.
But also look for their professor.
Yep.
Yeah. And it starts off with the flashback, though. So the movie's pretty much like, the premise is a flashback of this guy, David, who's the sole survivor. And it's just a really weird opening. Like, David's just like being chased by this giant fucking shadow.
Yeah.
Weird. I mean, it's a giant, like Godzilla big. And he's getting chased out of the woods and ends up like in a mental hospital. So it's a pretty interesting premise, but I will get into a little bit more after the film of how I feel that some movies owe some big fucking debts of gratitude to this fucking film. So that'll be cool. It's directed by Jack Woods, known for this movie, and that's it. he
One-hit wonder?
One-hit wonder. He wrote this and directed this. He actually did this originally as a short film, but again, we'll get into that a little bit more. But he's done mostly sound, on other films, but this is his only directed film and written film. He wrote he did post-production on a lot of other movies. And he was actually the co-writer for 1972's Beware of the Blob. Starring Frank Bonner. And I'm aging myself here, but that's Herb Tarlek from WKRP in Cincinnati. I don't know if you guys remember that show. Do you? Yeah, so he's like the pervy record DJ in that show. Herb Tarlek.
I know, but he had like a DJ name that was ridiculous.
That was his name, Herb Tarlek. But Frank Bonner, yeah, and nobody else, and Jack Woods does play a small role in this film as a cop or something like that in the background. But this is a 1970s film. It is a bit of a slow build-up, so be patient with it. But it is completely fucking worth it once it.
I even watched it. I concur with this assessment.
Yes, it's a slow build-up, much like some orgasms, I guess you could say.
Just some of them, yeah.
Some of them, not all of them. And it pays off, though. It explodes all over the scene. So, enjoy 1970s Equinox, and we'll be right back.
He's right this way.
How's he been behaving lately, Doc?
Pretty well. He got violent about a month ago, and we had to bring him down here and put him in a padded cell.
Has he been acting up this last week?
Pretty much so, but we gave him tranquilizers to calm him down. I believe he'll be all right. David, you've got a visitor.
Thanks, Doc. How are you feeling, David? What's the cross for? To protect you from the curse? Dave, I've got something to show you.
make you feel better.
I thought you said he was tranquilized.
Oh, I thought he was. Lee, will you check him?
Yes, sir.
Oh, here's the cross. Somehow I ended up with it. Oh, cigarette, Doc? Oh, what's the tape recorder for?
Listen.
Okay, now, sit down here. Let me go. You better hold him down. The cross, I gotta have the cross, please. All right, David, we'll get you. Just a crucifix. Okay, but now relax. Tell us what happened to you. Why do you want a crucifix? To keep them away from me. They're gonna come and they'll kill me. They will. Now, David, you're safe here. Calm down. Tell me why these people want to kill you. They're not people. Okay, but tell me about them. Tell me how it all started. It all began last week when a school teacher of mine stopped coming to his classes. That's Arthur Waterman? Yeah. Well, none of us thought anything of it until the school asked me to try and find where he was. Well, you see, he's got a cabin up in the mountains off Ridge Road. I've been doing some research for him, and I knew where the cabin was. So you were going up there to see him? Well, not at first, but something came up, and I was going to be near there anyway. So I thought I'd drop by. What was it? A party.
Eddie, listen. Dave doesn't have a date for your party tomorrow night. So I was wondering if you knew anybody.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do.
Who?
A girl named Susan Turner. I was talking to her today about the party. She said she wouldn't come without a date.
Good. That'll work out just fine. Call her then, okay?
All right, tell you what. I'll bring her over to Dave's house tomorrow about 10. That way you can all get better acquainted and you can do the introductions. Okay, bye, Jim.
Well, all set.
Great.
Eddie's going to bring her to your house tomorrow morning about 10. I'll call Vicky tonight, and we'll be there before she gets there.
Very good. Hey, why don't we use my car? It's a convertible.
Good. I'll bring something to drink, and Vicky can make some sandwiches.
You mean Eddie isn't going to supply the food for his own party?
Oh, well, sure. But Eddie says it's a long drive up there. We should stop to eat on the way up.
Okay, we can eat by Waterman's place up there.
Well, why do you want to see him anyway?
I don't know. It's a long story. I'll tell you about it sometime. Hey, what's the name of the girl that Eddie's bringing?
Susan Turner.
Turner? You don't think you'd stick me with a loser, do you?
Nah, you'll have to wait and see. Want a Coke?
Yeah, I guess so. Hey, make it cold.
Like ice, buddy.
Where's Vicky going?
Oh, to put on her lipstick.
Well, she had it on.
She smeared it. Oh, they're here.
Hi, Eddie. Hi, boys.
Hey.
Susan? Hey, Fielding, Jim Hudson. Boys, Sue Turner.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, hello.
Hey, where's Vicky?
Inside putting on makeup.
Hey, do you remember how to get there?
I think so. How many are going to be up there?
About 50.
Ah.
I'm going on up ahead to get things cleaned up a little. Meantime, you can all get better acquainted.
Right. See you, man.
Thanks, Eddie.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, buddy. See ya.
Well, I guess we get acquainted.
I guess so.
But with me, not with Jim.
Oh, no, with both of you.
Sounds fair. Come on inside. I'll introduce you to Vicky.
After that, I want to take some pictures before we leave.
Eddie seems like a nice guy, though. I mean, I just mentioned to him that I didn't have anything to do, and he invited me. I've only known him for 2 days.
Oh?
My family just moved in next door to him.
Where did you live before that?
In New York. Boy, was it hot there.
I guess it was.
How long have you known Eddie?
Oh, 5 or 6 years. Sometimes I think he's out of his mind.
Jim seems like a nice guy, though.
He is.
Vicky seems nice, too. An awful lot like Jim.
She is. That's why they get along so well.
Hey! Where'd Eddie go?
He already went up ahead to get things ready.
I already told you that.
Well, I forgot.
Did you bring? Okay. Everybody line up here and I'll take your picture. All right, everyone. Smile now. Susan, move over a little bit. That's it. That'll do it, folks.
I was always under the impression that Jim was a photographer around here.
Ah, but in a moment, my dear friends, and you will gaze upon the faces of the dead.
That's a nice way to start off the day, calling us the dead.
Boy, you can't do anything right, can you? Come on.
Vicky, you got the lunches?
Yeah, Dave.
After you.
Thank you. Keep stove and there.
Do you know how long it'll take to get there?
I don't know.
Eddie says it takes a couple of hours.
Yeah, that's what Eddie says. You got everything?
Yeah, huh?
Yep.
What about my hair? Yeah.
It looks terrible.
Look in the glove compartment.
Whose are these?
Well, I like to be prepared.
Suave. Very suave.
You ready?
Eddie told me about the time you tried to give some phony excuse for not...
Phony? I'll have you know that was entirely legitimate. There was nothing I could do about it. You turn that off.
And then here's the shutter. Now, you press this button and it takes the picture.
That's nice, but you probably forgot, like the last time, to put film in the camera.
Nah, no, not this time. Is this the way to Waterman's cabin?
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, let's go. Go.
Looks like we took the wrong road.
Maybe we didn't. We might have to walk to get there.
Yeah, Waterman's place is in the woods a little ways.
Okay. Why don't we walk up to it and see if we can get a Coke or something? I'm thirsty.
Water jug's in the car.
What'd you put in it?
Nothing. I thought you were supposed to put something in it.
Well, I thought you were going to put something in it. Why was I supposed to?
No.
I don't...
Come on, we can get something to eat at Waterman's place. Come on.
Sure is pretty around here. You know, with all these trees, seems like there should be a stream here somewhere.
So what? Jim.
Wow. What happened?
I don't know.
An explosion?
It's been broken down, not blown apart.
Waterman's car's not here. He must have been away when it happened.
Where's Vicky? Hey, babe, what? Hey, look at that.
Wow. What's a castle doing in this area?
What do you mean?
Well, who's ever heard of a castle around here?
Why don't we go up there?
Sure, why not?
Because we have to get back and call the police about Waterman.
No.
It'll just take a few minutes. It'll be fine.
Look, it'll take at least half an hour to get up there and back. We have to climb, you know?
I know.
Okay, let's take a vote. If more than half of us want to go up...
Forget it. Okay, Waterman might be up there. Sure don't remember seeing that before.
Oh, come on.
Well, let's go. Careful. Over there. You can't come in there. They're waiting for me.
What's that?
I don't know. Anyone want to go in there?
I'm not sure.
Do you?
Pretty dark. You have a flashlight or something in the car?
I don't think so.
Matches. All right, we'll make some torches.
Torches. Right.
Hey, come here. Come on. The noise we heard.
Yep.
Maybe. Let's go and see what it was.
Yeah, there's a lot of junk in here.
Someone must live here.
Jim! Dave? Jim?
Hey! Where is she? This way! There! Up there!
I guess I gave her quite a scare.
Well, let's get out of here.
No way. You gonna leave? Ain't you afraid of the demon and his friends?
Oh, no, we aren't.
No?
I don't know what you mean exactly. We heard this noise in here and flapping sound.
That's the demon you heard.
No, I don't think it was any demon. It was a lot of yelling and screaming and a flapping sound like a large bird.
You better watch out or I'll catch him if he isn't careful coming in here trying to get the book from me.
What book? I think we'd better leave now.
You're not fooling me now, are you?
Oh, no, we aren't.
And you really don't know about the demon or the book?
We're not after your book.
The truth?
No, we came in because we heard a noise.
Well, you can't leave empty-handed. Come with me and I'll give you something. Here you are, take it. Now get out.
Don't you want it back?
Want it back? No, I don't. Now get out of here.
I'm thirsty. Jim should be back with the water from the stream pretty soon. Thanks a lot for going back to the car and getting your luncheon.
That's all right. Looks like we're going to be here for a little while with that castle to look at. And the book.
Oh? When are we going to Eddie's?
Couple hours. Why?
She's a little scared, Dave. I think that old man put us all on edge. Speaking for myself, of course. Wouldn't that be strange if he were telling the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Here comes Jim.
All right, who's first?
Jim, do you really think we should stay around here after what that old man
Sure,
said?
why not?
She's afraid of seeing monsters.
Don't let that old man bother you. He's nuts.
I know. But what about Waterman's place? Someone had to tear it apart, and who would have done a thing like that?
The old man?
Not strong enough.
That's what I mean. Who could tear it apart so completely?
You know, I looked around for tire tracks or something, but there wasn't any. Not even any footprints. And the wood wasn't cut, it was broken. And what about that weird cry we heard coming up on the way to the cave?
That could have been the old man. For all I know, he could have made the footprints.
For what reason?
I don't know. Scare people like us, maybe.
So what's going to happen? Are we going to look at the castle or what? I think we should.
It won't take very long. Let's get this stuff into one bag. And we can leave the cooler here. We gotta come back this way anyway.
Is that all right with you, Sue? I mean, really, if you want...
It's really all right if everyone else wants to. Well, let's go.
Come on, Dave. You okay?
David?
What happened? Some guy knocked you down. Where is he? That way. You two stay here.
Susan? Oh, where'd it come from? I don't know. Look! The castle's gone.
What happened?
He must have hit his head on a rock when he fell. He's dead.
You sure?
No heartbeat.
Well, what are we gonna do?
Well, if I can get the girls, I guess. We can go to a police station. Grab his feet.
It wasn't your fault, Dave. It was an accident. They'll understand that. Come on, don't let it bother you.
Don't let it bother. Don't you realize what's just happened?
Yeah.
Well?
Where are you going?
Back to Waterman.
Hey, Dave, wait. But you said he was dead.
Well, he was. Well, at least I thought he was.
There's where you dragged him up here, so this is the spot.
But there are no footprints. If he got up, there would have been footprints. It's as though he just disappeared.
Yeah.
If anyone else were here, we would have seen him, wouldn't we?
I think so. Those footprints are our own.
No one else has been up here.
But Dave, a minute ago, Arthur Waterman was lying here dead. And now he's gone. Flesh, bones, blood, all are gone.
Sulfur. I smell sulfur.
Yeah, but what does that mean? He burned up in a bed of sulfur? Not likely. What was he working on when he called you?
How should I know? Yeah, what difference would it make? Let's go back.
Go back?
Tell the girls what's happened.
Right.
And we should prepare ourselves for anything. Something's going on around here, and we should find out about it.
We should start by looking at that castle. It's not easy to lose a dead body in a castle in one day.
Shut up.
But it couldn't have been our imaginations.
Of course not.
What happened to it? You just can't walk off with a castle.
Well, someone did.
Let's go up and have a look. If there was a castle there, it would have left a mark of some kind.
How can anyone move a castle?
Maybe it wasn't a castle. Maybe it was only a false front of one.
Yeah, like in the movies.
Right.
But what about the body?
I don't know. But I can't help thinking there's a connection between it and the castle. You two stay here. We won't be long.
Hey! Wait! I want to see the castle.
There isn't any castle, stupid.
Well, all right.
Huh.
Well, what are we going to do now? Find a comfortable rock, sit back, and wait for him.
It was just around that cliff.
Where are they? I don't know. I can't see them from here. They must be pretty close. Hey, come on. I'll take your picture. Sure you know how to use it? Yeah, Jim showed me how. The light's not very good here. Where do you want me to sit? Why don't you sit over by the stream?
About 20 feet from here, wasn't it?
I think so.
That's the first live thing I've seen around here all day. Hey! Dave!
What'd you say?
Come here. This is it. Hold it.
Hold it? What are you talking about?
Now watch this.
Watch? Watch what?
There you are. Is that okay? Okay, now just a second.
Save me! Help me! Help me!
I get back and watch out. Jim, get up in that cliff and attract his attention. If he reaches up for you, I'll try this thing. Throw something at him, Jim. Rock, anything.
I've never seen anything like it.
It's a wonder it didn't kill us all. Where do you think it came from?
Looks like that old man wasn't so crazy after all. This is probably the demon he was talking about.
The old man's dead.
Dead?
The creature killed him. He's back there.
Well, we better not leave him there.
No, we won't.
Do you think this could have anything to do with Waterman? Or his cabin, maybe?
Yeah, maybe so. We'll go after the body. You two stay here.
Okay.
Dave?
Maybe we should go with them. I couldn't stand to look at that old man's body again. I'm glad we're getting out of here. After all that's happened, I've lost all my curiosity. Jim, the hand! It moved!
Must have been a reflex or something.
But just the same, let's take him with us.
Okay, come on. Things sure have a way of disappearing around here.
Yeah. 2 dead bodies and the castle.
And I'll bet that animal's gone, too.
We'll know when we get back.
Back where?
The cliff and the castle.
I'm not so sure we should keep fooling around up here.
Neither am I, but we've gone this far. I'd like to find out where that castle went and where the monster came from.
Get us all killed?
Not if we're careful.
I suppose you're right.
I'd still like to climb that cliff. This time, though, we take the girls with us.
Yeah, I think we should all stick together. Like glue.
Right. That way, if anything happens, we have a better chance of fighting it.
All right. I thought I'd let everybody know. I'm scared.
Aren't we all?
Well, let's get started. The thing I really regret about this is that Eddie isn't here to enjoy all the fun. You know, if it hadn't been for Eddie's party, we might... Listen, Dave, don't let the girls know about that invisible wall until I get back.
Where are you going?
Back to see if I can find my camera. I just realized that no one's going to believe any of this unless we can get a shot of one of us sticking our hands into that barrier.
Why don't you want me to tell the girls about it?
They might want to go inside, and I don't think any of us should. At least not until I find that camera. I have a feeling that that's the hiding place of that thing you just killed.
Okay, you go back for your camera. I'll look through the book and see if it has any of the answers.
Are you two coming?
Can't do without us, can you?
Jim's going back to look for his camera.
I'll go with you.
No, you go up with Dave.
All right. What happened to the idea of us all sticking together?
It won't take me very long. You and Vicky ought to rest anyway.
Maybe so. But hurry.
I will.
Hope you'll be all right.
He will. Come on.
Anybody here?
No trace of a castle or anything for that matter. Oh, here comes Jim. Is that it?
Yeah, this is all that's left. Never take another picture. Find anything?
A little. I think the book may have something to do with the forces of darkness.
You can read that?
No, but there are a few pages of translation. Someone's been writing on the pages.
Well, what does it say?
Something about destroying evil. I can't make out all the translation.
Let me see it.
May I see?
Sure.
Well, what are we going to do now?
I want to go over and find something Jim and I saw while we were up here earlier.
What?
I don't know, some sort of invisible wall.
What?
Hey, Dave, look at this. There's a note in here.
Can you read it?
Yeah, this one isn't written in Swahili.
Well, go on then.
All right. Arthur Waterman.
What?
I, Arthur Waterman, having embarked on a course forbidden to mortal man, and heretofore unknowable by him,
which I pray in the name of God shall never again be so foolishly repeated. I have deciphered, in defiance of the laws of Tartarus, the text and meaning of this cursed tabloid, which now in vengeance reaches out for my very soul. Already I have seen the first signs which foreshadow my doom. I cannot guess how many hours remain to me, but before I perish, I must be sure that this message survives after me to serve warning on the world that the forces of darkness are far from dead. 7 months ago, a colleague returned from an archaeological excavation at the site of an unknown civilization near the Persian Gulf. Out of this ruin and forgotten wreck, he brought to me a manuscript, the last recorded communication between an ancient sorcerer and the spirit of the dead. Ignoring his warnings, I began that evening to roll back the limitations of mortality and see into the secrets of death itself. I discovered that there is a demarcation, a boundary, which can appear at every bidding of the fiends which dwell within. Now I have found too late that this borderline, this equinox between worlds, is no barrier to him who possesses this book of the damned. Blinded by curiosity, I chose a desolate area to challenge the ancient oracle. And on that deserted hillside, I entered into the unholy world. With success came a cold, settling fear, the likes of which I have never known before. But now, forced on by a will equally as foreign to me, I gazed upon the other dimension. On this first of many journeys, I witnessed the migration of the dead to their eternal torture below, a horrifying sight, which only increased my desire for the secrets of the equinox. My zeal for forbidden knowledge soon carried me past the threshold of mortal experience. The underworld could not allow one with my knowledge to live. They want not only the book, but my soul itself, and I cannot elude them much longer. Do not think you can fight them. Destroy this cursed work. Destroy it and scatter the truth. This message must not be lost again. May heaven grant my deliverance.
It's hard to believe.
Well, if we can't believe it, it means the creature isn't dead, and it'll be back.
Or something worse.
Well, let's get out of here.
That thing, Jim, it was after
This.
the book, and not us.
It was, yes.
What do you mean, was?
We know the secret now. We know that if we can penetrate that barrier, we can discover the secrets of the underworld, or whatever controls the creature. And we know where the barrier is.
That invisible thing the bird flew into. And I bet that's where the creature came from, too.
Probably so.
Where are you going?
You want to go over and have a look inside that barrier, don't you?
Yeah, but I've been thinking, Jim. If that book is all you think it is, it's obviously important. More important, maybe, than we realize.
That creature he sent after us wasn't fooling around.
What if it comes back?
That's my point, Jim. This is too important for us alone. We don't have any defense for it. And look what happened to Waterman.
Don't you think we should let someone else know?
I think so. But who? That's the problem. If we make a mistake, God only knows what might happen.
Hey, wait, I've got this.
Ah, but...
Well, what can we do?
Well, I think you and I should stay here, Jim. We're not sure whether that barrier's going to be here forever. You two are going, though. If anything happens, you'll be in town, away from here.
Jim, I'm staying.
No, Dave's right. You two should go. At least we'll get some help that way.
Well, take this then. It might help somehow. All right?
Mm-hmm.
But what if we don't find a town? We could get lost and we don't know our way back. Yeah, why don't you both just leave the book and come with us?
Oh, the book. I left it back there.
Jim, look! Over there! You wait here. If I'm not back in 15... Here. Come on, grab him. Run! Get out! Take this, go to the car, and get out of here.
He's right, Vicky. Come on.
Jim, you all right?
Yeah, I think so. Where are the girls?
You sent them back to the car for help.
The book? Well, let's stop them.
Jim? Hold it!
Wait. I forgot to give him the keys.
Oh. We gotta get the book.
What happened in there?
When the giant discovered I didn't have the book, he figured I wasn't much use, so he let me go.
Wonder what they'll try next.
Who knows?
We've got to get that book to someone. That's important. I just wish I'd let Susan keep that cross.
What cross?
Susan's cross. Don't you remember?
Who are you?
Don't you know, David? Or are you afraid to draw the obvious conclusion?
What have you done with Jim?
Your friend is dead. Something we had hoped to avoid. But now it looks as if we'll have to kill all of you.
You're afraid, aren't you? Afraid that if people start asking questions, they may come up with the right answers. Like Waterman.
The unfortunate thing about Waterman is that once he discovered his answers, he didn't know what to do with them. That barrier is the result of his work. And for a while, the barrier shield dissolved, enabling people to see the other world without crossing over.
The disappearing castle.
However, soon, we'll be totally rid of the barrier. But enough talking. Your meddling has caused us nothing but trouble. We were easy on you the first time. We resurrected Waterman to get the book from you so he'd think he was just a thief. Then we resorted to stronger methods. And those foolish girls...
that moment, I knew I was cursed by all the forces of hell to die in exactly 1 year and a day. Susan was dead. There's nothing I could do, so I ran. I just had to get away. Away.
So Susan was dead?
Yeah.
And all the others, Vicky and Jim and Waterman?
Yeah.
Did you kill them?
No, of course not. What's the difference? In a year from now, I too will be dead.
And that's the story of David Fielding. Is there enough here for your newspaper story?
No, I'm afraid not.
Why not?
Well, I thought that maybe something would happen. Something I could get a story out of. But this, it's a year old.
Well, what did you expect to happen?
I don't know. But it's been exactly a year and a day since that made news. And I wanted to get a follow-up.
Then, today's the day.
That's right. But it doesn't look like he's going to do anything.
No, I guess he isn't.
But would you give me a call if something happens? Suicide or something. I can use that.
Oh, sure. Sorry if I couldn't be of more help.
That's okay, Doc. He's the story, not you. Well, see you around, Doc. Thanks anyway.
Oh, yeah. Glad to have helped.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Hey guys, thanks for sticking with us. I hope you enjoyed Equinox. It turns out to be a very satanic, a weird, cool little doorway opening up to another dimension, right?
Yeah, it was actually pretty neat. I will admit, in the beginning of the movie, I wasn't quite sold. I was like, what the hell is going on here? And then it was a bit dull there for a while. But then it really developed a storyline rather quickly and had a kind of interesting plot twist there.
Yeah, it's got like really weird overdubbed voices, which is funny. The old man in the beginning of it's like the really funny part about it. He's like, he just has like a typical old man voice. But we're gonna get into some interesting facts about this film, like I talked about earlier, guys. It was made for $8,000, which is amazing. I mean, for back in the day, that was a lot of money. But it eventually earned $849,000 after a drive-in run and a midnight movie run. They just kind of plastered it out, and it definitely made its money back for the filmmakers, which is really good, man. It premiered in May 5th or May 6th, 1970. It originally was a short movie done by the director, but a film company like saw the movie and they gave him the cash and they're like, dude, do a full feature film. So it does play off as it could be a short film, but I'm really glad that it became a full feature film. Now, the movie itself is praised by George Lucas and Ray Harryhausen for the Ray Harryhausen type of effects in it. But god damn it, it should be praised by Sam Raimi and his fucking brother and Don Coscarelli, because without this movie, we wouldn't have The Evil Dead or Phantasm. It's blatant. I mean, it's pretty fucking blatant. So, it's just hard to believe that these guys haven't paid homage to it, unless they need to get called out and, you know, like, hey man, what do you think of Equinox? You know, put them on the spot. But I mean, you have the comparisons between the two. You got a professor of Evil Book of the Dead, right? And bringing fucking evil shit from the other side and possessions and shit like that.
Yep.
So it's like, Evil Dead? Yeah, it's kind of weird. And then you have like the alternate dimension that you go into that's a little weird, and it's just like a doorway, and you go in there and there's like druids and all kinds of weird shit in there, and there you go. It's fucking Phantasm. So
yep.
I don't know, man. I think that they really need to pay homage to this, and I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We don't do a lot of like 1970s creature features on here. I'd like to do some more in the future, so you guys write us, let us know what you think, and hopefully we can do some more. But up next, and it's been a long time since I've said this, Mail Time with Sam. Hey, thank you so much for sticking with us, and it's Mail Time with Sam, and we're doing 3 questions from you guys, and I'll answer them, or she'll try to answer them the best we can.
She'll probably do most of the answering, but we'll see.
I'll do my best.
All right.
Cool.
So the first question, what's up, guys? Not much is up. It's
Not
no,
much.
sorry.
It's fucking COVID time. I mean, we're getting fat. That's about what's
Pretty much. I got boobs. Okay. Who is the best director when it comes to horror? And this is from Corazon de Oro. Of course, I probably said that terribly. So.
Corazon de Oro?
I do not
That's
have
okay.
a Spanish.
It's okay. You don't have no Spanish in you.
No,
Yeah.
no, actually, that is one of the few things I am actually missing.
Really? Spanish in you?
Like every other European country I have covered. I'm
Want
one of
some?
the whitest of white. Huh?
Want some?
Well, we'll discuss that later.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Best director when it comes to horror. Man, that's like a loaded fucking question. And I'm going to try to break it down to like 2, right? Because it says the best director. And horror has been around for such a long time, and there's so many legendary directors. So I'm going to break it down for you like this. For me, personally, my most favorite director when it comes to horror is John Carpenter. Like, hands down. I mean, and more than horror, he does action and everything else. But I love his style. I love his art. I love his direction. I love his scoring. So John Carpenter for me, that's it. And then I had to look this up because I forgot his name, but I've only seen 2 of his movies, and I only think he's made 2 movies. Ari Aster, am I saying that right? Fucking amazing, man. His movies give me the fucking creeps, and he did Hereditary and Midsommar. Did you watch any of those?
I didn't, but I almost did. I will.
Fucking creepy, man. Some
like
people think that they're
creepy movie.
I think some people think that they're art house garbage. I don't. I think they're great, man. Like, I mean, it's better than Tommy Wiseau, all right. But he's great, man. I mean, as far as you got the Jordan Peele's, all these up and coming really good horror directors. But man, I love that guy's films so far. So I'm waiting for him to do a 3rd one. Much like the rest of the world is waiting for like new music and new movies to come out. They're not coming out yet. So there you go.
All right. So question number 2, and I'm assuming this one's directed at you. Hey, handsome.
Oh, hi.
I hope your festive season has been the best.
It was.
Is there a line between disturbing and disgusting, or is it all subjective? as what one may find disturbing can also be disgusting. My example, Marianne Dora's Cannibal or Vogel's Mortem. Angela Jane. Halifax, West Yorkshire.
Wow. All the way from England. A question from Angela. Hi, Angela. I actually know who Angela is. And Mike. Hi, guys. Tough question. I draw the line at real shit. That's where I draw the line. I think like Cannibal or Mortem, if that's your thing, they're not necessarily my thing. You know, like Red Sin Tower type of stuff. A lot of these guys make these really fucking disgusting movies just to show off their prowess of making, really grotesque shit out of nothing. You know, some fucking, rubber and plastic and whatever, plaster, and it comes out really good. The subject line is really fucked up because, a lot of these movies have to do with like home invasions and cutting chicks' nipples off and cutting dicks off and and so it's really reality based type of shit, and a lot of people are like, this is just garbage, it's crap. But like I get that point of view, but for me, I mean, I'll watch it. I have a hard time with some of like the rape type of stuff in there. Some of that shit's a little rough for me. But I get that these guys just want to showcase that what they can do in the makeup room, and that's fine. So I don't really have a hard time with that type of stuff. But I don't know, man. I mean, that's where my line is. And then once you start getting into the faces of death, the traces of death, and all that shit, it's like, I can't really do that. When I was younger, I could do that shit, but I can't really do that shit now, just that I'm older and whatnot. But so that's the best I can answer your question. So I don't know about you.
I don't like gore.
No.
I really don't like gore.
Not real gore, but like fake gore?
I don't even like really fake gore. Like, I really didn't like any of the Saw movies or anything like that because I felt like it was all just...
That's what they call
guts and gore.
I think they started a new genre with that one. Was it shock porn?
Yeah.
What was it?
Shock porn. I don't think it was.
What was it? What was it like? Just gore porn or something weird like that? Yeah, it was just made to just. It's kind of like in that same respect. So.
Yeah. So I tend to just like, I would prefer if I'm watching something to be scared. I want to be scared, but blood, guts, and gore or things like that really aren't scary to me. They're more they're more disgusting.
There you go.
So I don't tend to watch those movies. I prefer a really good suspense storyline and like subtle build-up.
You should probably check out some late night Cinemax movies. You might
Probably.
like those. Yeah, some of those are a little suspenseful and sexy. All right, question number 3. Sorry, I watched one the other day. Some scary. Yeah, I'll get into that later. It's fucking hilarious. All right.
Sounds right up my alley.
Yeah. Question number 3.
Number 3. Duh. Hey, old friend. Once again, I'm assuming directed at you.
Yes.
Out of Christmas horror sub-genre, can you break down your top 3 movie recommendations? And this is from Patrick.
Absolutely. Silent Night, Deadly Night. Elves.
I was hoping that was going to be on.
Oh, fucking 100%. Elves. It just for the mere fact that movie was made on the insane fucking ideas. Elves is great.
It's like one of my favorites.
And I'm gonna take a fucking swing, and I might be missing, and that's fine. I mean, because there's so many Christmas subgenre movies, and people are gonna be like, "You missed this, you missed that." Do yourself a favor and watch Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 5, The Toy Maker. And I'm gonna leave it at that. That's it.
Was that the one that we just watched?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Santa Jaws. Santa Jaws was amazing.
What?
Santa Jaws.
Is it made by the same guy who did Ant Farm Dickhole?
It could be.
Could be.
Another quality movie.
Yeah, that is a quality.
What about the Bill Goldberg Christmas movie where he was Santa going on with things like Santa's Sleigh?
Santa's Sleigh. Yeah. Again, here I said, like, I know I'm gonna fucking get, what about this? What about that? Here I'm getting it.
You're getting it.
Go watch The fucking Toy Maker right now. It's free on YouTube. It's fucking hilarious.
It is much better than I thought it would be.
Yes,
I've seen that one.
Yes, it's The Toy Maker, and it has nothing to do with the original Silent Night, Deadly Night at all. But it has to do with Mickey Rooney, Toys That Attack, and a real-life Pinocchio kind of guy that tries to fuck his wannabe surrogate mom with no dick.
It's, yeah.
Right, am I right?
You are very right.
Okay, we're going to leave it at that. All right, guys, you know how to get a hold of us. I don't know. Hit us up on our Facebook page, the Androidvision Facebook page. You can hit me up on my Twitter at AndroidVirus and on my Instagram at AndroidVision_.
Androidvision_.
Yeah, that's I always fuck this up.
We got a Discord server now.
Yep,
Oh, we do have a Discord server.
I pop into the Discord server every now and then. They gave me power.
Yes, we do. We are on the Discord server, so pop into our Androidvision Discord server. We're getting with the times, finally. No censorship in that one, by the way.
We have Bootbot.
We have Bootbot. BBTHICC is my favorite.
I noticed that.
Did you?
You learn wonderful things about the people in the room with Bootbot.
Yes, I like them thick. All right, guys. We'll see you in February. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.
Is that chaotic neutral? Is that how that game goes? I don't know how to play, but I'm really interested.